So going over Bitcoin real quick, we had a good day. We've actually we had good days for the last 7 days. If you would have bought in, say about a week ago, you'd be, say 15 to 17%, depending on when you got in on this candle. Maybe if you would have caught the dip, you're up probably over 20%. But we had every day for the last week was pretty much an up day. We're pulling back. We did kind of get towards the previous all-time high. We almost broke it, but we're getting this double top area. There are no double tops, so we're gonna go higher. Maybe we go higher. Let's see. So we're on a 7, 8, 9. That'd be a Sunday. We would get the 9. We could break out on Sunday. We could break out tomorrow. We were getting some divergence on the lower time frames. If we go to the shorter time frames, so we can go to the hourly, and we see, we went below this. I was, neutral to bullish. So as far as price movement goes, I'm not looking to kind of exit. Even though we're going below this, you can trade this 30 MA on the hourly, but it would have got you out. You would have made profits, and maybe it saved you from potential dips. This way, you probably would have been right around break even, but you'd be back in it, maybe about break even. If you would have followed the 4-hour, where did I say? I said a couple days ago. I said once we had, I said it on my last video. So we had a right here. Once we broke this high, this 52.6 area, 52.7, we had this candle close above the prior green, close above the high. You kind of got it in this if you would have anticipated the move, but if you didn't, and you say you got in at the worst case, you'd be up 3%, somewhere around there. But that's bullish, and you would have entered this with basically the mindset that we were going to break to new all-time highs. We got extremely close. I still think we're going to go higher. Could we pull back and form this cup and handle? We could. We are getting divergences on multiple time frames, bearish divergences. You can see it here as price has gone up there. If longer time frame, it's kind of, longer span, it's kind of flat. Shorter time frames, you can kind of see it here. The divergence I always seem to talk about because it's simple. I keep my charts simple. There's no reason to keep or add all these difficult. That's bearish divergence on a smaller time frame. As a whole, we're okay. We're gonna find support most likely here. I know my last videos, it was somewhere around this area, and I said we could, we were pulling back, and I said the support area was around, I think it was 54. I was here, the lower area. So I said like 50. I'm pretty sure I said 53.3, 53.4 area, and we kind of got to like 53.1. Looks like 53, almost flat, and then 1 to 4 candle correction, and then we went higher. As soon as this 2 closed above this 1, closed above that 9, we went higher. We retested it again, and then we bounced, and we went higher. So yeah, it looks great. We're getting a little bit of a pullback, but I'm not worried. I'm holding my position. But there is some bearish divergence. The Bollinger Bands, we can pull those up just to see we're on the upper end. This is kind of holding here. Yeah, we're getting some consolidation on the smaller time frames. We can pull up. We'll look at the Ichimoku Cloud just to look at it. There's some support here. Yeah, we're so much above it. Ichimoku Clouds are real good. Right when price is starting to break out, it's caught in the channel as price is moving up. But once price breaks out, there's really nothing there other than to tell you that you're in a bullish. As this cloud gets wider, you're on the upper part of the cloud, and you're so much above these these kind of trend lines within the Ichimoku Cloud that they're just basically, if a pullback does happen, they're giving you areas of potential support. So let's look at the hash ribbons. We haven't looked at that in a while. They're starting to kind of condense. Whenever these cross, that's a buy signal. Right now on the daily, we're just kind of going flat. They can compress, and then we can get further price movement. Let's look at so that Lucid SAR, we on the weekly, that's sitting at 43. We're probably not going to pull back there. We had a pretty decent move up so far. Let's look at unbalanced volume real quick. That looks pretty okay on the daily. On the 4 hour, we went higher, which was actually good. If you would have looked, and we would have kind of, let's see, somewhere right here, if we would have broke out, and we did. I mean, we got, I say broke out, it only moved up 1%. I would have liked to see it much better. You know, we're getting price divergence with our indicator, but relatively it's kind of flat. Kind of just really moving with price. There's no, well, I mean, I say that there's no clear indication, but we're obviously getting something here. So we're getting price up, and then we're getting a flattened indicator. I'm trying to remember, you know, a relatively flat indicator. I'm trying to remember what that is. That would be, let me check. So flattened indicator, well, with declining price, that wouldn't be it. So flattened indicator with, this would be, so if you're drawing your trend line above the price whenever you're trying to use these bearish and bullish divergence, that would mean bearishness. So flat on the oscillator side, but increasing price is an indication of bearish divergence. It's a weak correlation, but it is bearish. So yeah, I mean, this is a smaller time frame. Let's look at it on the bigger time frame. And we did get a pullback, right? I mean, that did show it, but I don't like to trade on such a small. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Right now, whenever price is pretty much bullish, I'd rather just not maybe take any cues from the shorter time frames like the hourly. But you know, we do have our 30 MA strategy, which works. This 4 hour we broke above it, and it's going to act as support. So right now, if we do get a pullback, 53,000 would, you know, if it really tumbled, that would be like a 5% drop. But yeah, the RSI was here. We failed to really break out more, even to go. So on the indicator, we got a declining indicator with kind of, I guess this would be considered flat price action, but it's really not flat because we did have this big dip in the movement. But if I'm looking for some sort of trend or bearish, like, you know, if I'm looking at divergences, you would say that this is a, you know, flat price with a declining indicator, which would be bearish. This type of divergence is bearish, and that would indicate a possible reversal, which could mean, you know, we get a little cup, you know, a little handle on this cup and handle. But that's on the 4 hour. On the hourly, kind of the same thing. Price is going up. It's a little bit more pronounced here. Here, the same thing. I mean, you can clearly see it. It was even more so here, how we have higher prices and then a declining indicator, and we did get a dip. We're getting the same thing. You know, we're getting a flat price with a declining indicator, which is also bearish. So, yeah, we could see, you know, a cup and handle form potentially. We still have 2 more days on this count. I would really like to see the CMF start to trend up. The weekly is not going to really show anything. We're just, I mean, we're getting increasing prices and declining indicator. So monthly, you know, I'm looking for 95 on the RSI. We're at 91. Nothing crazy. I'd like to see the CMF really start to move up on the daily for sure, because we had such, but it's not. See, it's kind of just resembling what the RSI is doing. And the calculations are kind of similar. So it's just, you know, until this CMF really comes up and breaks out above this, if we do get a move the next couple of days to a new all-time high, I would be relatively cautious unless this CMF starts to go up and then we start to break above the, you know, this RSI level of 70. That would say we could potentially get to this area of 80 and then really see a big price movement. But if we're getting a new all-time high tomorrow, Saturday, or Sunday with the declining indicator, and it's going to be a 9, that would maybe say maybe 1 to 4 candle correction, and then we go back up to the upside. I would be very cautious. You know, we did get a bounce here. This, I'll put on the other TD sequential so we can see what the count is. Yeah, so we have 6, 7, 8, and then 9. So that'd be the end of March. But the indicators themselves, this one's kind of flat. This one's definitely trending down, as you can see. We can look back at 2017 on how kind of that played out. We did get a high and then lower lows, and eventually broke out, and that was it. So we have a peak. How many peaks did we get? Man, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're kind of on 1, 2, maybe 3, but this kind of needs to break out. Yeah, I mean, moderately bullish, right? Very high probability that we're going to get a new all-time high within the next, I say within the next week, but maybe within the next 3 to 4 days, maybe tomorrow. It looks like that's likely. So that's about it. As far as this goes, I want to look over TLRY real quick because that finally took off. We were going back and forth with it. If this day, I mean, the daily closed above the 1, above the 9. Kind of the stimulus got out of the Senate. That's all taken care of, so that they can move on to other things. And hopefully, there isn't a definite date yet, but hopefully the next thing that they're going to move on to is elaborating on the MORE Act, that bill. But you can see, and I've been watching this, the CMF is dumping as price is going up, which is never good. That is definitely a bearish indication. On the daily it was. Now we're starting to get some movement on the 4-hour, and hopefully that translates over to the daily. We get some constant buyers to come in because price did move a good bit. That 1941 was a buy area, and we're up a substantial amount already. So 1941 is right when I bought. So say there, we're already up 45%, over 40% from that. That entry was based off of the T sequential. This right here, we never retested it. We kind of got close there, patient, sideways, we dumped, and now we're back up. We're going back up. I'd like to see the CMF look a little bit better, but on the smaller time frames, we're starting to see more movement. Tomorrow morning at 8:30, as soon as the market opens, we're going to get a 9. That means the rest of the day, maybe there's some profit taking for the weekends, and we get some price pullback. But if you're going to, I think the outlook for this is much longer, and it's not really short time frame. You can take some profits off the table if you're a little nervous because this has ran up so much and pulled back. But 30 MA is at 24. You would have entered if you would have used this right at 20, right at 24. So if worst case scenario, if you took the hit, I mean, right now you'd be up over, definitely over 10 and over 10%. But at worst, this is a break-even trade. If you would hold out until price closed below the 30, because we know that is a profitable strategy. Like I said, we're starting to trend up. It's knocking out these highs. The next high I would like to see it take out would be 29.60. We get a 4-hour close above that. So I'm saying, we're going to hit a 9 tomorrow morning. But if the price rally continues up, and the CMF would indicate that, the CMF, we would probably get a break above this 0.21. If this keeps on going, we get a 9, maybe for 2 hours right before lunch, we get consolidation. And then right at lunch, more volume comes in, pushes this CMF higher, pushes us above 29.60. We get a 4-hour close above that after, basically after midday, 12:30. We'd get that. And if the 2's above the 1, above this high, man, there isn't, right now, near term is about 40. But if I want to pull up an Ichimoku cloud and see where we're at and where we could possibly go back to, I thought I had one drawn in here. I guess I don't. I will draw one real quick. I thought I had one. I really wish I would have. Let's do it on a bigger time frame, though. Nope. Man, I thought this is it, but it's an old one, so I'm going to use it. And I'll do it on the daily. I probably should do it on the weekly. Oh man, this is way up here. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out. There we are. There we are. Let's see what it looks like on the weekly, because that's probably why I had it drawn down here. because this is a big reversal wick. That was weak. That was weak hands. They sold it all the way down. And this is showing that we kind of found support at 20, which is right on this Fibonacci, on this retracement. But let's go to the daily to maybe help us give us a little bit better idea. I mean, you can see these weak sellers. I mean, these weak holders. So yeah, so I would say 34 would probably be our next target after we broke this area right here. So this 29.60. Right here, and that would be okay. Somewhere around 34. We can pull up the Ichimoku, like I said. That's good as prices going up. To give us, yep, there you go. It's going to say like 30, between the Fibonacci, say 34 to 36. Prices usually go into these crosses. So yeah, somewhere around 34 to 36. We could get a big wick up over the next couple of days because we are on a 2, which is above the 1, which is closing above the 9. So yeah, this could be a nice move pretty soon. Within the next week, we could see some good movement. That CMF is going to have to go start trending up. On balance volume, let's see what we have on that to maybe show us some stuff. On balance volume is pretty flat, but it's starting to trend up. If it's trending up on the 4-hour, yeah, it's trending up on the 4-hour. So we're getting some buyers. There's volume coming in. We can look at just general volume. Volume again. So the on balance volume is does implement volume as hints the name. So we're getting more volume, and it's coming in on these are buyers. The daily volume starting to trend up. That's good. So we're getting higher prices. We have another indicator. Our TD sequential telling us that this is a bullish entry. Our volume starting to line up. This actually looks pretty good. Let's see what we had on the weekly. Our weekly's not as high as this. It's green because price closed green, but that's a lot of. That's just sellers. But we're getting volume that's starting to level off on the weekly. We had a nice move, 30%. There could be another move coming in. Stuff is lining up. If you're in this, where am I wrong? Where am I taking some profits? If I got in way down here, just use your 30 simple moving average. If I want to be a little bit more strict, whenever we print that 9 tomorrow in the morning, I could maybe reevaluate a little bit, but I would need more fresh data, so I can't really call anything here. You're probably likely to find support around 27 if we do reach above 30. Maybe I would, this is a reversal candle, so if I wanted to be conservative, if we got around like the 24, again, that's still lining up with my 30 MA, so 24, you would almost stick through the dip, but if you wanted to take some profits off the table, you could. But as far as providing a better exit and how much to exit, you really couldn't do that until this 9 prints and see how much of an aggressive move it is. Evaluate CMF on balance volume to kind of determine if we're getting increased CMF. If this thing takes off tomorrow for the first 2 hours and we're getting higher highs on the CMF, there's highly unlikely we're not going to have a significant pullback. If anything, we're going to get FOMO buyers in, and we'll see that kind of meme stock, because this is kind of on the borderline of meme stock. It's been being mentioned in some forums in Wall Street Bets, but it hasn't been getting as much attention as, say, AMC or GameStop. Again, I still think those are overloaded trades. Even though we did trade AMC, we did make a good profit, somewhere around 15%, but I moved on since then, and I think since then it's actually gone down. So that's TLRY. We're in it. I still think the potential for that is immense. Here, came back, indecisive candle, pull back. Today, where did it go? I didn't move much. 4%. GameStop, I think, is having a lot of, so right here is about 210. It's at 260. We'll see. So there isn't anything I really want to go over other than that. Went over Bitcoin, went over some main things. That's about it. If you want me to review any stocks, again, not investment advice, just an overview of what I see. If you hold some positions, you can leave those in the comments, and I'll look over those. So I appreciate it, and thanks for watching.